Hi tappers! I love this technique. I glommed onto it immediately in class as I was doing a version of it myself in my emotional clearing work that I did before I knew EFT. This way of doing it is very succinct and powerful, therefore it's highly effective. It's called sneaking away from the problem. So often in emotional work, we tuck it away until nothing else will fit. It's all threatening to explode out. So we go get help and it all goes bleh. But it can't all be complete and happy in a 1-hour session. Now what? It's painful and it creates a deterrent if a person leaving feels like they just got all opened up and now they have to shovel it all back in and hold it for another week. Sneaking away is the solution to this. It is a highly simple technique, but don't mistake that for meaning that you can just kind of throw it at the person and it'll land well and there you go. This is where they feel validated and opening all of this up and where they feel comforted that it's okay that they didn't get to have it all resolved today. Leaving something undone is triggering for most people, especially in our instant gratification world today. And not just because they want to check it off their list, but also triggering because they finally managed to bring it up and they might fear that it's going to sink again and they won't be able to bring it back, or fear that now that it's brought back up, it's going to haunt them the same way that it did when it first occurred. This technique is what allows them to truly put it down and be happy with the progress that they've made so far and feel safe and allowing space between right now and next time. There is a whole list of sample phrases in the manual that you can reference for what to say while tapping, but I'll give you a few here. Using the general setup statement after acknowledging that it's time to close the session, you can use whatever they say as an objection of combining this with sneaking up. So even though I feel like I just got started, I did a lot of important groundwork today, and I can let this go until next week. Even though this issue is still haunting me, I can close it back down to feel safe again until I'm here next week. Even though what I want to do is keep going for the next 4 hours and just get this out, I accept that it's okay to do it in pieces over time. Validate where they currently are and integrate it with being okay to pause and begin again at a later time. Note that at the beginning of doing this, they really may not feel that it's okay at all, but keep going with the process, make gentle suggestions, and they'll come around. Now, I want to give you a bonus technique now, because that's kind of a short explanation. This method isn't used as often, but it's fantastic for those needing a solution to extreme sensitivity or for very young children and babies. It's called Touch and Breathe, or TAB. It's very simple and straightforward. You use all of the same tapping points as you would for tapping, but instead of tapping, you simply touch and breathe. It's important for you to focus on what you're doing, and you can even visualize the energy coming from your fingertips, going into the skin and communicating to the brain with the same buzzy signal that we get from the percussion of tapping. This is great for anyone who has very sensitive skin or who's prone to headaches and the tapping is just too much. If they have facial or body trauma at a scale where the tapping is jolting to them and therefore it's overwhelming, or a person who doesn't have the capacity to understand what the tapping is for, and they don't care to have you doing it on their face or their body. Using TAB can be just as effective in lowering a high SUD score as tapping, so it isn't a lesser technique by any means. If someone is triggered to a heightened point, remembering the breathe part may need to be prompted by you. Feel free to take your time here. Really stretch the moments out so that it's a calming of the central nervous system rather than hyperventilating because you are breathing at every point. Usually, when TAB is used effectively, the person feels comfortable changing to tapping fairly quickly, usually even within the same session. If it's rushed, you may get stuck there or find that they even want to stop doing even touch and breathe. This can be a great tool to use if you want to do some tapping for a quick minute, but you don't want to wake up all of those nerve endings so intensely, such as waking up in the middle of the night and you're wanting to go back to sleep. It's even effective to imagine tapping on the points, but that takes practice and a lot of focus and concentration. I recommend using a tactile method if you can. Next week is a video on one of the most helpful tools that we have. And it's also the absolute most weird one to do. I'm excited to introduce you to the 9 gamut or the clock method next video. I'll see you soon.